G'day, welcome to Hikare's Crossing. Today we're going to look at the Universal Tarot, the mini one. So instead of doing a full-size Rider-Waite-Smith deck, I just got a little mini. I'm not really I find I don't really use the Rider-Waite Tarot much, so this is what I've got. So I don't know how this is going to play out because it's quite, let's see what happens if I, well, that's better and smaller because it's such a small deck. And I'm sorry that you can't see that it's got the full on it, but you can see the imagery. It's just showing you the imagery more than anything. I'm sure you can Google these. You'll see the colours are slightly different. So let's just go through. Oh, I just took it out. I took it out. I did look at it. We did look at it in the haul, so that's why it's out of sync a little bit. So you can sort of see the cards anyway. Just giving you an idea. They are slightly, you know, the colours are different. The images are the same, just colours are different. There might be little differences. So we'll just. I don't really use the Rider-Waite-Smith much. That's why I've had them in the past. End up always giving them away, or they disappear on me or whatever. So you just see the colour differences really, I think. And there are slight differences with their feet and different things that are slightly different. You'll find there's little aspects that might be made them slightly different. This is the Lo Scarabeo deck. Comes with a really tiny book, so for me to have a quick skizzy through it, I'm going to use the magnifying glass. These are quite good for large. The minis I quite like for large spreads. You know, when you're doing a big spread, when you're wanting to do like the Gypsy spread or the Celtic Cross, but a variation where it uses 4 more rows of 4. 3 more rows of 4, should I say? Another 12 cards. So. When you're doing a bit, or even when I'm doing like, I remember doing like a 36 card spread, you know, like doing a astrology, a yearly spread where you do 3 cards on each one. This will be quite good because it's not so big. Sun. So I really don't like the Rider-Waite-Smith sun with the children on them. I think that's the, I don't know why. So there we go. I mean, it's okay, there's the world. So now we go into the aces. Then we're going to the cups. 2, 3. Yeah, there are some slight differences. Now, this is more of a woman, it's more of a girl than a guy. With the 4 of cups. So yeah, there are some differences, but similarities. Well, you see the 6 of Cups is actually inside with a big banister behind them. So yeah, there are differences, but it'll be alright. So yeah, it's a Rider-Waite-Smith, but not a Rider-Waite-Smith, if you know what I mean. Oh god, I'm totally not in the picture. I've got the laptop to one side, so it makes it a little bit tricky. Oh my god, the page. Look at those pants. Imagine wearing them today. Tonight. Oh, yeah. I think I could have done without all the languages, but anyway. Don't want to cut it down anymore. It would be too tiny. It's mini enough as it is. And I won't be using it. I don't know how much I'll use this. Might be quite handy. I do prefer my New Zealand Naturally or the mini mother piece. But it's an alternative. It's kind of cute. And I think it'll be quite handy to have like this. This is really little. So it will be quite handy to sort of have. I just want a Rider-Waite-Smith type deck. Quite a handy little one to have. But if you're going somewhere, I think this will be quite handy to have in my purse. I don't have to worry too much. Slip in nicely. It'll fit in the small pouches, that's for sure. Because I don't keep them in the tuck boxes. I always put the tuck boxes to one side and put them into a bag. Because I'm always worried I'm going to rip the boxes. Because they never last long. So you can sort of see. Yeah, there's definitely some differences with the imagery. Plenty of similarities, of course, but you can sort of see. Oh, I don't really have another Rider-Waite-Smith to actually show you the differences, but I'm sure most of you can realise and understand the differences. Differences in colour, some of the imagery, the characters. See, some of the characters have sort of changed a little bit. So there are a few odd and little extra things are added, changed. It's your 8th, then we're going into wands. Oh, looking in a different direction. That's interesting. Because I feel like the original Rider-Waite normally looks to the left. This one looks more to the right, you know, as you're facing. That's interesting. There's definitely some directional differences as well, which is interesting. Oh yeah, 4 of wands is a little bit different. Not a whole lot, but enough. Yeah, there are some real differences, so it could be interesting to work with for a while. And 6 of wands, 7 with the battles. What in the world is he wearing? Oh no, he's a real knight. So you don't see that in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith ones. It's like a real knight there. Sorry, excuse my commentary. There's the 8 of wands. Now he hasn't got his eyes covered in this, just his head. For a minute I didn't think he was wearing anything. He's got yellow clothes on. I don't know if you can see. Oops. I thought he was just wearing a loincloth or something. But anyway, 10 of wands. Page. Your knight. Queen. She's got a black cat still. So there are definitely some similarities, but there's also many differences, which is quite interesting. Whoops. So I'll have to have a look online and just see what differences there are. Have a look at my the one that I've got on my piece of the computer that I had scanned before. Disappeared on me. So yeah. Now we're going to swords. Oops. So tiny to try and hold on to. 2. Now this is interesting. See, your 3, you've got a scene underneath. Oh my god. Yeah, we've got someone lying underneath. I don't know if you can see. Oops, where are we? See that? See that person at the bottom? That guy lying underneath? Hand over his mouth. Ooh, crying away. Oh yeah, there's definitely some differences. So here's your 4 of swords. Whoops. I actually quite like this compared to the, I don't know. Shows the knights more in the battles. Whoops. Instead of them just looking like normal peasants, they look more like knights. These are 6. Oh god, sorry. I'm so bad at doing this, aren't I? Sorry. Oh, the 9 of Swords, she's got her head right back. Instead of her head forward, she's got her head back. Here's your 10. Oh my god, it's the front of somebody, not the back. So you're not being stabbed in the back, you're being, it's like right there. I think it really gives it a different, it does give it a different sort of feel, this deck, the messages. I don't feel like you're being stabbed in the back there. This is more about being stabbed face on. This is you are being screamed at, yelled at. I just feel like someone is really being harsh and critical face on, you know, like to your face, not even behind your back. It's really interesting. So this is the page. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of readings it does. Actually, what sort of messages when you sort of really start exploring it. I feel it is going to be slightly different. Might be working with it more than I thought in first impressions, and I think I've changed my mind as I've looked through the imagery. So this is what happens when you don't really know a deck. Never assume, never judge a book by its cover. Just because it looks like a Rider-Waite-Smith and it is a clone, it doesn't mean it's exactly the same. I think that's the King of Swords. I think this is going to be quite different. Now, really, oh god, it's so tiny. Okay, so this I can actually do sideways. I don't need the other little bits and pieces that don't need to cut. So this is so tiny. Oops, as you can see. Just trying to, so little. This is going to be, see, normally I shuffle my cards this way. No, that feels really, it's too tiny. Okay, we've got 9 of Pentacles came out, okay? Let's see. The Fool, New Beginnings. 9 of Pentacles, the Fool. I mean, you can see that they've flipped. And 5 of Cups. So busy focusing on the negative. Time to start focusing on the positive. Right, okay, are we ready? just don't know whether it will be. I mean, there's so little. Let's have a look. I'm so hopeless at this. So just to give it a little bit of a thing through. Oh, the incense is nearly finished. White sage, clearing the energy from the cards, from the others, and just putting my own energy into them. Whoa, that just flipped out. So that was clarity. It's the Ace of Swords. That to me is about clarity. So that's a definite card that's come out. God, that is so bad. Whoops. Let's have a look. Let's see what other cards. Okay, are we ready? What message can we share today? Okay, we've got Five of Pentacles. Oh. Five of Pentacles. So let's have a look. You're being led. Who's leading you? Are you being led by others out of the cold and into the warmth? Freezing. Sense of poverty, sense of conflicts and going on. And here you have justice. Again, you've got the truth of the situation. So I think you've got Ace of Swords, which talks about clarity. You've got Five of Pentacles, which to me is about, you know, who's leading who to where. So do you have clarity in who's leading who in regards to the truth of the situation? Are you finding your inner balance, your equilibrium? Or are you letting others lead you before you can find your clarity? See, I'm just trying to shift the card so you can see. Yeah, so are you finding your balance, your equilibrium, the truth of the situation? Or are you being led by others before you find your clarity with what's going on? Something to think about. You know, are you able to reveal, you know, or are your actions? What's your consequences from your actions? You know, look at it truthfully, have integrity. You know, what consequences do you have from the actions you've taken, or from your perception, from your own truth? Were you led by somebody else before you had clarity? Your debris. Oh, I feel like there's a lot of confusion, a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so I'm just going to do 3 more. Okay, I've got the Hermit, which is about meditation, reflection, solitude. So this could be about finding some quiet time so you can reflect on what's actually been going on. You've got the Four of Wands, so you're able to feel like you've got some stability in your energy, in your vitality, your creative desires. So do you have some stability, foundations in where you want to go? Oh, it's interesting, we've got 2 fours here. So this is like the Four of Pentacles, about what are you actually holding on to? Are you holding on to what's good for you or what's not so good? You know, there are times when things do need to be held on to, but there's also a time to release and let go. Especially when it affects your health. Okay, I'm just getting one more as well. Here we go, the World card talks about walking over the threshold into new adventures. So interesting. So when you decide that you can actually release what's not good for you or hold on to what is good for you, then you can then begin to walk through over new thresholds into new possibilities. So there we are, we have it. We have the truth, finding your balance, your equilibrium, in how you've been, in finding your own, I get a sense of being aware of who's leading who. Are you being led by another person, or that's coming through so strong. In finding the clarity, what debris, you're feeling like there's a confusion and stuff going on. So you might need to find yourself in solitude so you can review where you're at, so you can make sure that you have stability or new foundations. Being aware of actually what are you holding on to, what's of value to you in regards to finding that foundation, that stability in your health. Very important. And once you've got that, once you've sorted that out, you've sorted through your perception with what's actually going on, you're then able to walk through the threshold into new possibilities. You're able to acknowledge where you are in your cycle right now, which stage you're at, and are you ready to walk ahead, in which direction are you walking ahead as you cross into new possibilities. There are 4 directions that you could actually go in. It's totally up to you in which direction you move. What lies ahead? Up to you. Take care, and blessed be, from Hekate's Crossing. As we've looked at the Universal Tarot Mini, with all the different colours and slightly different imagery. Very interesting. Take care, blessed be, and I'm really sorry about the terrible lighting at this time of the day with the window.